Dressing Room Diaries! Lights up, people. Welcome to the Dressing Room Diaries, the podcast where three drama kids overshare, spill backstage tea, and talk all things theatre and the arts. I'm Lexi.
I'm Abby.
And I'm Honor. Together, we're your hosts, three chaotic drama lovers figuring out our future in the arts, one episode at a time.
For our first episode, we're keeping it fun, getting to know each other, sharing our most embarrassing stage moments, and probably exposing ourselves way too much.
And in the next episodes, we'll be interviewing some amazing guests who inspire us and hopefully help us survive the industry.
So grab your script, find your light, and get comfy in the dressing room because the show starts now.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay, shall we start off with how we all got into the industry?
Yeah,
Where we started. Yeah,
that's probably a good start. So this is Lexi speaking. So I've been a dancer since I was 2. I stopped just before COVID. I've done drama the whole time being in education. So I did it for GCSE, I did A-level, and then now I'm doing it at university. So that's me, really. I've always been doing drama, and it's something that I just want to continue.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So this is Honor speaking. I started this thing called Stagecoach, which I know is up and down the country.
I did Stagecoach.
When I must have been around 6 or 7. And I just found that it gave me so much confidence because I was particularly quite shy when I was little. And then I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. And I was doing singing and dancing and acting, and I was probably absolutely rubbish, but it was so much fun. And then when I moved into secondary school, I started doing things like Lambda, drama, doing all the performances at school. And then I just kept doing it up until A-level, and then now at university, baby.
Yeah,
boy.
Of course you are.
I did Stagecoach too. I was the lead role in the Year 6 play.
Me too.
Get it.
I was Cinderella in Cinderella Rockefeller, guys. Just saying.
Cinderella Rockefeller.
Yeah.
I was Little Red Riding Hood.
Wow.
I was actually Tweedledum.
Oh.
I was Tweedledum.
Yeah, I had like a fat suit on. I was like,
Really?
who's in the second house? That's how I spoke.
That's so much fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I really enjoyed that.
That's
yeah.
unreal.
That's so much fun.
I'm quite similar. I thought musical theatre is my thing.
Yeah, I did like little like town company performances that was outside of school, and I loved it.
So much
Madagascar.
fun. Oh,
I was Gloria, just saying. Imagine 13-year-old me. I feel like in year 8 still a little bit too old to be playing Gloria in a village performance of Madagascar. But hey.
You live and you learn.
Yep.
And then I thought, maybe I don't like musical theatre that much. So then I did contemporary at uni. Love it.
Yeah.
Loving it.
And then kind of got into marketing.
Yeah.
Oh. What's like your most embarrassing stage story? Because I absolutely have one. So
Go on.
was so the Blackpool Winter Gardens. I don't know if you know it. It's just like a big theatre in Blackpool. Like that's where they do like Britain's Got Talent and stuff.
Oh.
So we had a competition there every year with my dance school, and we did. Is it the film Home, the one with like the aliens? And
Oh,
yeah. So I was one of the aliens, and we were wearing morph suits. So because I was in a morph suit, I couldn't see anything. So the lights are really bright on that stage. Like, so while you're dancing, you can see a bit more, like, of what you're actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
But then the lights turned off when the dance ended, and everyone's off stage. Everyone's fine. What do? I'm running off stage, and I run straight into the curtain, and I can't see anything because of this morph suit. So I'm literally making loads of noise, and then I get wrapped in the curtain, and I cannot find my way out. There was about 5 people trying to get me out of this curtain.
You're joking.
It was so bad. And then afterwards, like the examiner, like who decides who wins and stuff, she actually mentioned it in the like feedback. She was like, I saw someone get stuck.
Oh,
and I was like, that was me. And my mum from the audience literally knew it was me as well. I was like, yeah.
I don't really have any embarrassing stories, but I remember I was in this performance in like whatever year outside of school of The Little Mermaid, and I was Ariel. Just saying. But I must have been really nervous, or poorly because it was like 10 minutes before we were supposed to go on, and I was backstage with like a chaperone, and my face just went completely white like paper, and I threw up and fainted.
Oh my god.
That's not ideal.
Yeah, and that was like just before going on. But I was actually fine.
The
and
show
I
goes
smashed
on.
it. The show goes on.
Exactly.
But that's what's quite scary about live theatre, is because you can't postpone a
No.
performance.
No.
Sadly.
Yeah.
If only.
If only.
I have one.
Do you?
I did Robin Hood when I was little, and the little kids company, we became like the forest, and we all had these massive trees, and it was in the round, and I ran on from backstage with my tree and literally whacked someone front row of the audience as I went past.
God. Really?
Like
An
nearly took
audience
them out.
member?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then she had to hold my tree really awkwardly. And then I also gave someone else a black eye with same tree. Someone that was in the company.
Get that tree off of you.
Yeah.
You're on a mission.
It was not good.
Well, we actually have asked, so we did a questionnaire for people on our course who gave us stories of anything embarrassing or something that went wrong that's happened to them on stage. So we'll just read a couple of them out. So this one says, I partially pissed myself at the end of a scene, but I was in the next scene and had no time to go to the toilet. I could either go to the bog and finish my piss, or go on stage with half of the piss and almost completely wet myself. However, the show must go on, so I went on stage and managed to hold the rest in.
I
Wow.
think that's really respectable, because how can you start weeing and stop halfway through?
Yeah.
To be fair, I feel like every time you're going on stage for whatever it is, you need a wee anyway, because it's just
Like a
the
nervous
adrenaline.
wee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
wee so many times before I
Oh
go on
my
stage.
god.
Yeah, it's actually scary. It's like, where's that
Inhuman.
come from?
Last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
my worst nightmare is that happening.
Same.
And if you need a wee, you can't really distract yourself from anything other than the fact you need a wee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't focus.
No.
Yeah.
Respect to you for carrying on.
Yeah.
So I've got a different one. I ate shit when I had to run across stage, and the whole audience gasped and began whispering to themselves, "The show must go on." That's quite a big theme.
The show
today.
must go on.
So I just continued delivering my lines with a sore ass. Cried about it afterwards.
So
Bless.
I ate shit as in like fell over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Bless. Well, you know what? Yeah, the show must go on.
That I feel like most people will have had a moment where they fell over on stage.
Yeah, it's so easily done.
It's the worst. But you get over it.
Yeah.
You do.
Who thinks about that now?
No one.
No.
So someone else said, I had a nip slip during Alice's performance, and in my feedback she said those things happen and I shouldn't have adjusted my bra.
Oh.
Hashtag no shade. Love Alice. Love that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess those things do happen, but I do think it's reasonable to adjust your bra.
Me too. You
If-
can play it
Especially
if
like,
you
that
actually
wasn't-
have a nip slip and everything's out, then come on.
you
Because
go-
otherwise, it's taking away from like actually.
it would
performing.
take away, and I think everyone's just going to be thinking about, oh
Oh,
my
nip-
god, so and so's got their nipple out.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about this deep performance
Oh,
that's going
that's
on.
quite traumatic for
It
you.
is. I feel for you all.
Feel for
But
you.
the show
Yeah,
must
it's
go
awful.
on.
The show must
go
go
on. Say
on,
it again.
exactly. Maybe that should be our podcast name. The show must go on.
This episode.
This
called The
episode
Show
is
Must
called
Go On.
The Show Must Go On.
And the show must go on. The podcast. What you guys wanting to do moving forward?
So, I'm quite overwhelmed recently with the amount of options that I have. I've just got so much. So, the other day I went to Z Arts, which is in Manchester, and I met up with Tabitha, who I actually am not quite sure her role there, but anyway, and I spoke to her about the training course that they do, which is like working with kids with like drama, art, dance, like yoga, all that kind of stuff, and that was really interesting, and I feel like I could definitely see myself working there and doing things with Z Arts. And they've got that, so they do like immersive experiences, and the new immersive experience is called Adventures in Wonderland. So it's like Alice in Wonderland but
Cute.
adventures, and they have so the kids go through the experience, and she let me go in as well, and it was amazing. Like the setup's so cool, it looks like you're in like Alice in Wonderland. and a white rabbit like takes them through it. And she was saying to me how if I've got time soon and things like that, that I could do that because I've got a background of drama. So I'm going to look into that maybe. Obviously, this podcast would really like to carry this on after uni, which I think we all agree on. I'm going to America again this summer. Woo! So I did Camp America for people who don't know. Everyone probably knows because that's all I talk about because it's my only personality trait. But yeah, so Camp America, I was the drama counsellor. So I was doing loads of performances with kids, musicals, like plays, all different things. And I'm actually going back as the arts director this year. So I'll just be in charge of more like drama, arts and crafts, ceramics, woodshop and nature.
Amazing.
And then I'm also thinking, do I want to do a PGCE? And then I have that as an option. Like,
the world is your oyster.
The world is my oyster. So yeah, I feel like I've got loads of different things and I'm just weighing up what I want to do and what's best for me. But I think putting pressure on yourself isn't the thing to do. So I'm trying to relax a bit. Yeah, and good. I've got these options and I can see where everything takes me.
100%. I'm very similar to you. You know, I've got an attitude right now where I'm 20.
Yeah.
I turn 21 when we graduate.
Woo!
That's my birthday when we graduate, and I'm just not ready to settle on exactly what I want to do yet because I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to take a gap year to figure things out, to really assess where my passion lies and what I'd like to do, whether that's a PGCE, whether that's going into marketing for the arts, or whether it's, you know, fuck it, I'll make my own theatre company, but I'm not entirely sure what I want to do yet. And I definitely want to carry this podcast on.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I think we've been given such a fun opportunity through this assessment, and I'd love to do that, but we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like that. I don't know exactly what lies ahead. I think there's so many options, so I don't want to put myself in one box.
Yeah.
And never. You've got to be open.
Totally.
I'd love to start a theatre company. We'll see. But obviously keep this podcast going.
Yeah,
of course.
It's been so much fun.
100%.
And I've become really interested in the last year with everything behind the scenes, like the marketing and advertising and kind of how you get an audience to actually come to these shows.
Yeah.
So I'd love to...
I think we'll definitely get those in our next few episodes because we have got people who are in our position who can explain to us how they got there and what they did.
Absolutely.
Just point us in the right direction.
Yeah.
I can't wait to listen to your guys' conversations with those companies.
Me too.
It's going to be so much fun behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into some real drama talk. Film versus theatre. They're both storytelling but involve acting, but they feel completely different.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? If you had to choose, which one wins?
That's tough. I mean, I love theatre because it's live. Feels so real in the moment, and there's no going back if something goes wrong. You just kind of have to commit to it.
I feel like theatre is all about the experience. The audience is literally right there with you, watching everything unfold in real time. Whereas with film, it's all about capturing a moment and making it last. Like, it's very different. But I don't know. It's a hard decision.
That's such a good way to put it. And actually, I feel like our performance of Shallow for Project 3B, Abby, was the perfect example of blending those both two worlds.
Yeah.
Yes, that was such a unique project. For anyone who doesn't know, we did a meta adaptation of the film Shallow Grave, but we staged it in this really contemporary way.
You had a split stage and the attic on the stage, the living room on the other, and the contrast between the two spaces was really important to the story, and it added that.
And we played around with different performance styles. So, you know, some scenes were super naturalistic, really grounded, and others felt almost surreal, like things were purposefully going wrong because they were purposely going wrong.
And that was probably my favourite parts. We actually built those mistakes into the show, like props falling over, misplaced items, dialogue repeating. So kind of as the story progressed, the stage got more and more chaotic.
Yeah, but that's what mirrored the characters' minds completely, like unraveling. So by the end, the whole stage was a mess, and I think it really showed how out of control everything had like became, and it was
and
good.
That's something that's so different in theatre versus film. In a live performance, you can use the entire space to show a character's mental state in real time, and the audience is watching it all happen in front of them.
Exactly. Whereas I feel like in film, you probably do that with editing, music, close-ups, cutting between shots to show the breakdown. But on stage, you've got to physically build that feeling.
Yeah.
And it means that like no two performances are exactly the same. In theatre, everything depends on the specific night, the audience, the energy that they bring, and
whereas with film, once you've shot a scene, that's it. You've captured one perfect version of that moment.
But is that not kind of the magic of film? Like in theatre, you only get one shot at a scene, but in film, you can take your time and craft it into something really specific.
Yeah, you get to be super detailed in film. Like in a close-up, you don't have to be big with your expressions because the camera picks up everything. Like even the smallest look or breath can tell more of a story.
So basically, theatre is all about the big picture, using the whole space, playing to a live audience, while film is about the detail, the tiny moments that might get lost on stage.
Exactly, and I think that's why Shallow works so well as a theatre piece. We use those contrasts, naturalism versus chaos, stillness versus mess, kind of created something that felt almost cinematic, but still live and raw.
It was such a cool project that you did. Like, honestly, it kind of proved that theatre can just be, like, as experimental, as visually powerful as a film.
Definitely.
If that makes sense.
Definitely. Okay. Final question. If you could only do one forever, film or theatre?
What? I think I'd say theatre. I love the adrenaline of it.
Yeah, fair.
Oh, I don't know. I think theatre, because the energy of a live audience is like really unmatched. But then I think film is a very like specific like route to go down, and it is still obviously fun. I don't know.
I think for me, definitely theatre, just because. Right. If the opportunity arose that I could be in a film, of course I'd do it.
The thing.
But I think you have more opportunities with theatre. You can combine elements of film within performance, but you can't really combine elements of theatre and film.
No, I agree with that.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's such a different feeling sitting as an audience member for a show than just sitting like in the cinema.
Yeah, definitely.
So essentially, we need to make a film that feels like theatre, vice versa.
Yeah, let's take over both of them.
Deal. Okay, so we just talked about how Shallow blended film, like storytelling with theatre techniques. But Lexi, your piece was completely different. It was way more abstract.
Yeah, your piece, I feel like it was more about movement and choral work. It was such a contrast to what we did in Shallow.
Yeah, completely. I feel like my performance was a contemporary movement-based piece about... So it was about a woman who joined a coven of witches, and I actually played Mama Witch, who was the leader of the coven.
Oh, I love that. You were so good. And the whole performance, I mean, it was so eerie and so powerful. It felt almost ritualistic with the way you use movement and voice, the breath work.
It was definitely more physical than text-based. Instead of dialogue telling the story, we used synchronized movement, body precision, and choral speaking. And it was all about the atmosphere more.
And I mean, the way you all created sound using just your bodies, it was so theatrical. Like the breathing, the whispers, the way the coven moved together. It was nothing like Shallow, but it worked so well.
Exactly. In Shallow, you use physical space to show the characters like psychological states, like the messiness of the stage reflecting their minds. But in the witch piece, the storytelling was completely external. It was about more the power and the transformation shown through the way that the witches moved together.
And your lighting choices as well, by the way, they were so theatrical. I felt like every moment was so sculpted. Oh, I just thought it was brilliant. It was like a moving painting.
See, that's what I love about theatre, because you can use the light, you can use the sound and movement in the way that feels so alive. It's not about making something look real like in a film. It's about making something feel real. And that's definitely what we wanted to do.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shallow had naturalism mixed with chaos, but your piece was pure theatre. It wouldn't have worked as well, I don't think, on film.
No.
Because so much of it was about being in that space, feeling that energy.
Yeah, imagine trying to capture that but in a film.
You couldn't.
I think you'd need like so much editing, sound design and effects to get the same feeling. But in theatre, all we needed was our bodies, our voices, and then the lighting, which of course added to it and really helped.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I sit back and look at the pieces, I feel like Shallow felt like this sort of comedic, psychological thriller-esque, and your piece felt like a folk horror ritual.
Yes, like an A24 film.
Oh,
but
yeah,
live.
yeah,
no,
that's such a good comparison.
I love that comparison. But also theatre lets you feel the tension differently. In film, you watch something unfold. In theatre, you're literally inside of it and you're feeling what these characters feel.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, sitting back as Shallow as a whole, I think you really observe that breakdown from a distance, but when we watched your piece, it felt like we were being pulled into this coven ourselves.
Yay.
I love how different the pieces were, but they both kind of show how theatre can be anything. It can be psychological, messy, hyper-realistic, or it can be abstract, physical, and completely surreal.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so exciting. It's not about one way of telling a story, it's about experimenting and seeing what works for what you want to do.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so final question. If you could only perform in one type of theatre forever, would you pick naturalism, like Shallow, or abstract movement, like your witch piece?
Nah, that's impossible. I love both of them for different reasons.
Okay, but if you had to choose.
I don't know, because I love, like, obviously movement-based theatre. I love how, like, physical and immersive it is, but I love script as well, and I love having, like, feeling like you're, like, an actor. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's different.
I really appreciate the movement-y bits, but I do think I find it so much more exciting, and I get way more of an adrenaline rush previous to performance when I'm doing something scripted. It feels like there's a lot more riding on it, and I just absolutely love it. But I also think you can combine the two within scripted. If you're doing solely movement based, a lot of the time I think dialect and talking within it can sort of take away from the movement.
Yeah, agreed. I think I just love naturalism.
Yeah.
I love movement and I really enjoy it, but there's nothing like being able to properly like dive into a character and their psychologically
Psychologically.
I can't say that. Psychology.
Oh, psychology. Yeah, well, I love both. I don't know. Theatre's the best way because you can blend both, like what you did in Shallow.
Agreed. Thank you. Sorry. Oh my God, sorry, guys. You said it's good. Agreed. Anyway, I think we've just proved why we need this podcast.
Yeah.
We could talk about this forever.
And maybe we will. But let's wrap this up before we start writing a whole new play. So, right. Obviously, we've learned a lot about performing, devising and all that jazz, but I feel like people underestimate just how many non-acting skills we've picked up from this degree. Like, I could put expert in problem solving under extreme pressure on my CV if I wanted to. And literally. To be honest, that wouldn't be a lie.
Oh my God, absolutely. Like when you're 10 minutes away from performing and you realise half of your props have mysteriously disappeared, that's a real crisis management exercise. And I've definitely gone through that.
You have.
Yeah.
It's literally live action event planning. But actually, things like organising rehearsals, booking spaces, promoting shows, it's all real world experience and projects management. Even running the Instagram for our course, that's been like proper marketing work.
Yeah, and I've done stuff similar to that.
You have.
Abby, you do it so well, I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And networking, to be fair. I think people don't realise what doing drama is. Like 50% of learning how to talk to people, like we're always collaborating with each other, with our lecturers, with guest people that they bring in. It's basically like professional schmoozing.
Oh, and emails.
Yeah.
I swear, first year me would cry if I saw the level of professional emails I have to send.
Like the dreaded, I hope this email finds you well.
Horror.
That's the performance degree in action right there. Every email is just like a monologue of where you're pretending to be a really competent, well-rested professional.
Which we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, honestly. But it is so useful. Communication, confidence, time management. I feel like even if you didn't go into theatre after this course, I'd still be so much more employable because of these skills. Like, I mean, I did that internship for the lecturers' research projects. And that involved so much organisation. I mean, meeting deadlines, professional writing. It wasn't just a theatre thing, it was proper research work. And I had to run the Instagram and schmoozing between lecturers. Oh, it was crazy.
I mean, it's not just that we've done theatre, we've done everything, literally everything around it. Yeah. We had a whole module called professional practices.
It's been brilliant.
It has been brilliant.
That's helped a lot.
So much.
Yeah, because we've had casting directors, learned about PGCEs, looked at master's courses. We've done sound and light and tech as well.
The tech side is so underrated. Like, I wouldn't say I'm about to go be a lighting designer, but at least I understand how it works now, and I've learned a lot from it.
Oh, and presenting skills. Like, I've got my presentation next week, and all those seminars, assessments, have to defend our ideas in front of a room full of people. I mean, it's basically corporation training.
Right. And let's not forget the dreaded word, essays. The ability to waffle under pressure is a skill that I think is going to serve me for life.
100%.
Making it sound like you know what you're talking about should be a degree in itself.
But, I mean, also, our lecturers know how hard this industry is. So they've really pushed us to learn about more than just acting and performing. I mean, we've covered directing, dramaturgy, script writing. I feel like we're really leaving uni with way more strings to our bow than what we started with.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we've unknowingly trained for 6, 7 different careers without even realising it.
So what we're saying then, drama degrees are more useful than what people think.
Absolutely. The slander I got in first year when I told people my degree, especially talking to people from uni it was horrible.
They don't get it.
But honestly, I mean, if any employers are listening, we are very hireable.
Yes,
we are.
Extremely. Please hire us.
I need a job.
Please.
I need a job too. No, but genuinely, I think the confidence and the adaptability we've gained is the biggest thing. Like, if we can survive tech, week, disasters, we can survive freaking anything.
Oh, that's so true. I mean, any crisis in life, now I could just ask myself, is this worse than a dress rehearsal where everything's gone wrong? And if the answer's no, I know I'll be fine.
That is solid life advice. Yeah. I'm saying put that on a tote bag.
Oh, golly. Okay, guys. And that brings us to the end of our very first episode of Dressing Room Diaries. I mean, I've had so much fun introducing ourselves, chatting about theatre, and giving you all a little peek behind the curtain.
Yes. I mean, this is just the beginning, too. We cannot wait to bring you more episodes, more conversations, and more behind the scenes chaos.
Yeah, it's been so fun, and next time we're actually switching things up. So I will be leading the episode as we sit down with Jake and Chris from Bitterroot Theatre Company to talk about what happens after finishing our drama course and starting out in the industry.
Oh, it's going to be such a good one. So don't make sure to follow the podcast.
Make
so
sure,
don't miss it. Sorry, I'm slurring my words.
And if you've enjoyed today's episode, let us know. We'd love to hear what you think, and if there's anything you'd love us to talk about in the future.
Yeah, so thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time on the Dressing Room Diaries.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
The Dressing Room.